tires by Cosmo, the Mucho Machos to be exact. I've had a couple days to drive on them now and really experience what they're all about, and these are pretty awesome. They heat up quick and they grip. Now, I came from a Nankang NS25 on a 225/40, and now we switched up to a much meatier setup for the 255/35s. Right now we got a lot of rubbing, not a lot, but any decent sized bump we're usually rubbing, but it's just a scrub on the side of the tire. Not too bad. I like the sand, so I'm going to keep it this way. I actually had to raise the suspension up a little bit. Woo! That was a money shift. Luckily we caught that in time. Ooh, that was... Woo! Anyway, the tires feel great. At first, I didn't really like the sponginess from the sidewalls. I thought they were a little bit too soft. But then I remembered back to when I ran the Federals on the stock Prius wheels. I drove on them down the street. I felt like I lost complete... It's a bumpy part of the road, sorry. I lost complete steering feel on those tires. Came back to that exact tire shop that I got them done at, and I told them give me the Nankangs, because that's a cheap tire that people were running, and back then your boy was broke. I mean, he's still technically broke, but regardless of the fact, now we're on these Cosmo Mucho Machos. I really like them. Yep, not bad. Road noise, not a lot compared to the Federal. Federals are extremely loud, actually.
But in the corner.
I mean, I never really felt what the Federals... Woo!
You hear that rubbing?
Yeah, it rubs. Never really felt what the Federals had once they got hot, because I only drove on them. Hold the corner. I never really drove on them. But these tires, just that corner that I just did, that hairpin, I have no skipping, there's no oversteer. Now granted, we do have the Hotchkiss front and rear sway bars on the car, so it does help out a ton. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. It was the last one we uploaded. And that actually really, really helped out the car. Sorry, we got a car in front of us now. The sway bars really helped out the car. From what I've seen, the Cosmo Mucho Machos are kind of like a different tire to run besides the Federal. It's pretty track oriented. Cosmo tires holds track events, from what I see on Instagram and their social media, a lot. They even have a VW Bug that's on the Cosmo tires, and it does autocross. It's kind of funny to see. Now, before I bought these tires, I did do my research. There was one article in particular, I believe it was from thedrive.com, a fairly big brand. They stated these are terrible tires, and then at the bottom, they go on about how, oh, you shouldn't buy a cheap tire, yada, yada, yada. You get to the bottom of the article and it says, now, granted, we haven't driven on these tires before. Hold up. You should have started there. You can't write an article about something that you never reviewed based off of a name. That's terrible journalism, if you ask me. I read some comments on that article. Everyone was bashing them, as they should. No one should down a company just because of a name. Cosmo's answer to this was they want to keep the brand fun, hence Sexy Beast and Mucho Macho tires. And just to prove the fact that these tires are as good as I say, we got some footage of going through this canyon while I was concentrating on the road. Actually caught up with a bike, and we were pretty much on his ass, so here's that clip. drive, there were comments. Everyone was bashing the company, saying, how could you even rate something? Why would you give someone a bad name? Just based off their name, how could you give someone a bad reputation? And I applaud the people that backed up this company, because that's like saying, oh, Subarus are terrible because their head gaskets blow. But if you actually did your research, you would know that head gaskets blow because of heat from the turbo motors. Now, not every Subaru is turboed, so like the BRZ, there's not really any issues with blown head gaskets. You can't judge a book by its cover. There was also another review from a gentleman who had he claimed he had an R35 and Nissan, a Honda Type R. And he autocrosses a lot. And he says that's the only tire he runs. He loves the Cosmo tires because they're cheap and they handle well. Now, that's the same thing as the Federal tire. Unfortunately, the Cosmo tires are not as big as Federal as of right now. Anyways, my overall review of these tires, I like them. I'm going to be buying them again. Now, whether they last 3,000 miles or 30,000 miles or 300,000 miles, that's the next question. From what I read, they kind of wear out fast, but that's given with a AA rated tire. I mean, you're not really gonna, there's a give and take to tires. You can get a lot of grip, but you're sacrificing your tire life. It is what it is. About halfway through the canyon, these tires were pretty hot, and I know they are. There was one corner that I thought, okay, this is like, I should have applied way more brakes to this, and I just held the corner and it just went. All right, guys, so we pulled over. We hit the canyon about 5 times. It went above and beyond of what I was expecting. The tires performed very well. The car performed very well. The Hotchkiss kit, I'm blown away by how the car reacts in the corners now. The tires, I'm unbelievably blown away. For the price of $62 shipped, I believe, each, you just can't beat this price. If you're on a budget, you want to get some track-oriented tires, this is the one. I highly recommend these over the Federals. But anyways, that's gonna be all for today's video. If you guys made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Go hit us up on TikTok and Instagram at 86Skulls. You can see all the behind the footage there. Make sure to hit that like button if you liked the video. Subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll catch you in the next one. Take it easy.